Hello everyone, my name is Paveen Ali and I am a nurse academic. So today we are going to talk about a very important aspect of examination, and I think most of you would know or would have come across multiple choice questions or MCQs in many different exams that you may have given. So today we are going to talk about how to attempt multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions or MCQs, as I've said, are a part of or a very important part of examinations in many different fields such as health and medicine, nursing, or any of the other fields which comes under health, as well as in other disciplines. During my academic career, I have seen many students getting very stressed about exam, and especially when they know that exam contains MCQs. So I thought it is a good idea to just talk about different strategies which may help you answer MCQs in a more effective and efficient way. So this video is for you if you are someone who don't know how to answer MCQs or who would like to develop your skills to answer MCQs effectively, or you're somebody who gets very stressed when the time of the exam comes and your stress affects your performance in the examination when you can't actually think of how to choose answers to different multiple choice questions that you may be attempting. So let's look at some test taking strategies. And among the important test taking strategies, the first one is read the question. It is very important that when you are trying to attempt an MCQ or a multiple choice question, you read the stem of the question, the base of the question, the statement of the questions very carefully, and read it completely before you're even trying to look at the options or the answers that from which you have to choose from. It's very important that you have read the whole question completely to be able to understand the answers and to be able to choose from the answers. Many students make a mistake is that they really kind of jump to try and answer the questions rather than actually reading the whole statement, and I think that this is something which is a very big mistake, because if you have not really read the question properly, it may be a small thing that you have missed, and because of that you probably have answered your question wrong. So for instance, there are questions in which the whole statement there is one keyword which is except this, so all of the answers are correct, but you need to find the one which is not correct, and because you have not read the statement properly, you have missed the word except, and you probably would struggle to find what the right answer was, or you probably would choose a wrong answer, so that can cost you a lot. Then strategy number 2 is that before attempting to answer the question, so you've read the question completely, now there are stumps which are there, so after reading the question, try and answer the question in your mind. Try and think about the answer before you attempt to read the statements. This will help you make your mind up about what you think is the best answer, and then when you look at the answer options, you will be able to confirm if the answer that you thought is already there in that options, and then you can choose that options. Otherwise, what will happen when you read the statements in each of the options, you might, and if you have not thought about the answers yourself first, you may not be able to decide which one of these is the right answer. You may think all of them are right answer, or you think one is better than the other, and therefore you may talk yourself out of the correct answer. You may kind of choose incorrect answer. So therefore it is very important that you, first of all, you have read the question completely, and once you have read the question completely, then you think about the answer in your head before reading the options that you have got. The third point, which is which you have to think when you're attempting the multiple choice questions, is eliminate wrong answers. So what you actually have to do in that whatever wrong answers are there, so usually there are four choices that you have to make. There are four options and you have to choose one right answer among all four of them. So read the options and try and eliminate the wrong answer, even when you know the right answer, and even when you think what the you already know the right answer, therefore you're going to choose that. Because if you are eliminating, or if you are deleting the wrong answers from the options, you are basically giving yourself more confidence to choose the correct response that you have. So I hope that makes sense, that once you have read the question completely, you've thought about the answers in your head, and then when you read the options which are there, start by eliminating the wrong answers before, and it will help you answer your multiple choice question. After that, you need to read every option. So every option that is given in the as an answer option, you really have to read all of them to make sure that you are able to choose the best response or the best option among all those which are given. So once you have read all the options, and then the task is to select the best option. It is very, very important that you have looked at all the options and you are not only identifying the correct response, but you are choosing the best options. Because more often, especially in the context of multiple choice questions, there may be more than one option which is correct. So you not only have to choose the correct one, but you have to choose the best one, because that may be something which is a trick, or um, that may be something that the examiner is looking for the best option. So it's just trying to think of all those responses which are there, which are correct, and trying to identify the one which is the best one. Then another strategy that you have to do is attempt the questions that you know first. So usually if you get an exam paper which contains 30 or 40 questions, and let's say that you have got, it's an exam which has got 30 questions, and you've got 30 minutes to attempt all those questions. So basically you've got 1 minute per one question. And if you get stuck on a question which you don't know, and you keep on spending your time on that question, chances are that you're not able to answer the question correctly, but then you are using the time for other questions in that particular questions. And so the impact would be that by the time you have finished your exam, you've not really used your time effectively, and by the end of 30 minutes you may not have answered the questions that you could have if you were to focus on the questions that you knew well. So the message is that when you've got an exam paper, you're going through the exam sheets, you're reading through the question, try and attempt the questions that you know very well. Try and attempt them first before going to the ones which you don't know. This way you would have attempted most of the questions that you know, and then you would probably be left with only few questions that you didn't know, and then you can spend rest of the time that you have and divide that time among different questions that you're going to solve. And you're not going to lose a lot of time from other questions, but then you can spend all the time which is left for you in those questions where you're not very, very confident. Sometimes it is that you're not very sure about the right answer. So, and when you have used all the strategies, like for example, you have eliminated the wrong answers, you have thought about the best answer that you wanted to that you think is for that question, but you still don't really know and you're still not sure of the answer. So once you've done all of those strategies, I think it's very important that you make a good guess and choose the question or the answer which makes more sense to you. Unless there is an exam in which wrong questions are marked negatively, which means that your marks are taken away if you have attempted or if you've answered a question wrongly. It is it is wise that you answer, or you attempt to answer all the questions, even if you're not 100% sure, even if it's a good guess, but try and do that, because that sometimes does help. The next strategy, which I think is very important, is looking for the keywords. Pay very, very close attention to the keywords in the question statement. So for example, when you're reading the question statement, you may want to look for things like, for example, not, or except, or always, or never, or none of the following, all of the following, and things like that. Usually it gives you quite a good clue of what an answer could be, or it can be completely opposite, that if you've missed that particular cue up there, you may choose a wrong answer just by skipping that particular cue. So therefore it is very, very important that you have read the statement correctly and you have paid close attention to those kind of words. Then the next thing, which I think is very important, is believing your instinct. So often what happens that when you're trying to attempt the question, you think one question is the right one, you choose that particular one, and then you start reading the question and the options again, and then you start questioning up your choice, and then you end up deleting that choice and choosing something else because you think that probably is not the best answer. In my experience, your first instinct is usually the best one. So therefore, try and look at for yourself that what suits you better, but try and stick with the first selection that you've made, with the first choice that you have when attempting the answer. Having said that, that may not always be true, but usually if I reflect on my exam taking strategies, that has always helped. I have always gone wrong when I have chosen something at first instinct, and then after some time I've changed my selection. That has never worked for me. So I think that's something that you really need to see what's better for you, or what's useful. But usually believing on your first instinct, believing on your first choice is always useful. The last bit of advice which I have is that usually when you're reading question, positive answers are often correct. So try and go for the words which have positive meaning, which are not negative, which are not resulting in a negative sort of information. And the other aspect is that when you're reading the question, when you're reading the answers, try and look for the keywords, like for example, all of the above, none of the above, all of the following, except, because they can give you quite a lot of clue of what a right answer could be. So I think this is it from me. We talked about various test taking. I hope you find this information useful, and I hope that you're able to use these strategies in your exams. And good luck with your exam whenever you have. Maybe it's tomorrow, or maybe you're preparing for it for next week or something, or maybe in near future. But good luck with your exam, and do keep in mind all these strategies. Please don't forget to give any feedback that you may have and how to improve this information, or if there are any other topics that you would like me to cover or to talk about, please do write them in the comment section, and I will try my best to talk about those topics. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.